Letter 435 by Charles Lamb. Oct. 4th, 1827. I am not in humor to return a fit reply to your pleasant letter. We are fairly housed at Enfield, and an angel shall not persuade me to wicked London again. We have now 6 Sabbath days in a week for none. The change has worked on my sister's mind to make her ill, and I must wait a tedious time before we can hope to enjoy this place in unison. Enjoy it when she recovers, I know we shall. I see no shadow, but in her illness, for repenting the step. For Matthews, I know my own utter unfitness for such a task. I am no hand at describing costumes, a great requisite in an account of mannered pictures. I have not the slightest acquaintance with pictorial language even. An imitator of me, or rather pretender to be me, in his rejected articles, has made me minutely describe the dresses of the Poissards at Calais. I could as soon resolve Euclid. I have no eye for forms and fashions. I substitute analysis and get rid of the phenomenon by slurring in for it its impression. I am sure you must have observed this defect or peculiarity in my writings, else the delight would be incalculable in doing such a thing for Matthews, whom I greatly like, and Mrs. Matthews, whom I almost greatlier like. What a feast 'twould be to be sitting at the pictures painting 'em into words, but I could almost as soon make words into pictures. I speak this deliberately and not out of modesty. I pretty well know what I can't do. My sister's verses are homely, but just what they should be. I send them not for the poetry, but the good sense and goodwill of them. I was beginning to transcribe, but Emma is sadly jealous of its getting into more hands, and I won't spoil it in her eyes by divulging it. Come to Enfield and read it. As my poor cousin, the bookbinder, now with God, told me, most sentimentally, that having purchased a picture of fish at a dead man's sale, his heart ached to see how the widow grieved to part with it, being her dear husband's favorite. And he almost apologized for his generosity by saying he could not help telling the widow she was welcome to come and look at it, e.g., at his house as often as she pleased. There was the germ of generosity in an uneducated mind. He had just reading enough from the backs of books for the next sinnet Essiferos. Had he read inside, the same impulse would have led him to give back the 2-guinea thing with a request to see it now and then at her house. We are parroted into delicacy. Thus you have a tale for a sonnet. Adieu with Imagine Both Our Loves, C. Lamb. The suggestion had been made to Lamb, through Baron Field, that he should write a descriptive catalogue of Charles Matthews' collection of theatrical portraits, Lamb having already touched upon them in his Old Actors, articles in the London magazine, C. Vol. Roman II, of this edition. When they were exhibited after Matthews' death at the Pantheon in Oxford Street, Lamb's remarks were appended to the catalogue Rayson. They are now at the Garrick Club. An imitator of me, P.G. Patmore's Rejected Articles, 1826, leads off with An Unsentimental Journey by Elia, which is, except for a fitful superficial imitation of some of Lamb's mannerisms, as unlike him as could well be. The description of the butterwoman's dress to which Lamb refers will illustrate the divergence between Elia and his parodist. Her attire is fashioned as follows, and it differs from all her tribe only in the relative arrangement of its colors. On the body, a crimson jacket of a thick, solid texture and tight to the shape, but without any pretense at ornament. This is met at the waist, which is neither long nor short, but exactly where nature placed it, by a dark blue petticoat of a still thicker texture, so that it hangs in large plaits where it is gathered in behind. Over this, in front, is tied tightly round the waist, so as to keep all trim and compact, a dark apron, the string of which passes over the little fulled skirt of the jacket behind, and makes it stick out smartly and tastily, while it clips the waist in. The headgear consists of a sort of mob cap, nothing of which but the edge round the face can be seen, on account of the kerchief of flowered cotton, which is passed over it, hood fashion, and half tied under the chin. This head kerchief is in place of the bonnet, a thing not to be seen among the whole 500 females who make up this pleasant show. Indeed, varying the colors of the different articles, this description applies to every dress of the whole assembly, except that in some the fineness of the day has dispensed with the kerchief, and left the snow-white cap exposed, and in others, the whole figure, except the head, is coyishly covered and concealed by a large hooded cloak of black cloth, daintily lined with silk and confined close up to the throat by an embossed silver clasp, but hanging loosely down to the heels, in thick, full folds. The petticoat is very short. The trim ankles are cased in close-fit hose of dark, sober, slate color, and the shoes, though thick and serviceable like all the rest of the costume, fit the foot as neatly as those which are not made to walk in. Patmore tells us that his first meeting with the Lambs was immediately after they had first seen his book, and they left the house intent upon reading it. My sister's verses. I think these would probably be the lines on Emma learning Latin, which I have quoted above. Here should come a very pleasant letter from Lamb to Dodwell, of the India House, dated October 7, 1827. Lamb thanks Dodwell, to whom there is an earlier letter extant, for a pig. He first describes his new house at Enfield, and then breaks off about the cooking of the pig, bidding Becky do it, nice and crips. The rest is chaff concerning the India House and Dodwell's fellow clerks.